I never actually thought that the PlayStation 4 would be home to a lot of my favorite 3D platforming games from my childhood. From the remakes and remaster of PS1 and PS2 games like the Crash Trilogy, the Spyro Trilogy, Medieval, Jak and Daxter series, and now Ratchet and Clank 2016, I'm pretty sure that we should be expecting a resurgence and revival of the 3D platformer genre. Since we have that going for us, might as well take a look as to whether or not Ratchet and Clank 2016 is worth playing at all, or is it just another nostalgic money grabber, if you will. Released in April of 2016 in the PlayStation 4 and developed by Insomniac Games, Ratchet and Clank is an action-adventure platforming game which is a reimagination of the original Ratchet and Clank game from the PlayStation 2. A lot of the content is mainly lifted from the original game, but there are differences like the lore of the characters, the weapon arsenal, the gadgets, and the in-game stages or planets. The story is also tied with a movie of the same title, which received a measly 5.6 over 10 in IMDb. The game starts off with Captain Quark retelling the events that transpired to another prisoner named Chief Helix. Quark's narration is also present all throughout the game, providing in-game tutorials and occasional banter here and there. The story revolves around Ratchet, who is a mechanical lumbax aspiring to become a galactic ranger. Clank, on the other hand, is a defective warbot created by Chairman Dredd, an evil overlord who plans to do evil things in the galaxy. Ratchet then rescues Clank from a burning vehicle, and then they instantly become best friends. That's basically the starting point of the game. Most of the time you will control Ratchet, but you also play as Clank during chase scenes and puzzle solving. At first, the puzzle solving mechanic was a bit rewarding, but later on, I just got straight up annoyed of how unnecessarily complicated it was. It's like they overburdened Clank levels with puzzles just for the sake of having puzzles. Also, I specifically hate the bridge bot because of the prompt for building bridges does not show up as fast as you need them to be. The game is then navigated through the use of a ranger ship, where you can browse the galactic map and then travel through different planets. The game also features a wide variety of weapon arsenal, many of them lifted from the other Ratchet and Clank games, with the exception of Proton Drum and the Pixelizer. Both weapons are new weapons to the series. My personal favorite is the Pixelizer, which transforms enemies into 16 or 32-bit graphics, giving off that nostalgic dosage without necessarily degrading its value as a weapon. All the weapons are upgradable when the weapons gain enough experience points after beating enemies. They can also be upgraded using Raritaniums, which are in-game gems, collectible in the hidden locations, and also dropped by enemies. They improve the damage, fire rate, area of effect, and general effectiveness of weapons. Another weapon that I like is the Groovitron. It is a weapon that you throw to force enemies to dance and just groove, setting up a perfect opportunity to kill them. I mean, look at those moves, man! Proceeding on into the in-game gadgets, you unlock these bad boys as you progress through the story, and a bunch of them are obtained by doing optional missions. There are 16 gadgets in the game, and some of the gadgets give you the ability of flying through jetpacks. You also get to use the grind rails by obtaining the grind boots. The mask allows you to breathe underwater, among others. I just feel shortchanged by the fact that you cannot use the jetpack on all planets. Another important gadget is the Trespasser, which works similar to a lockpicking mechanic. You have to point the lasers to the right direction in order to override the lock of the system. The puzzles here are manageable, although they may be a little bit time-consuming. If you are into card collecting like I am, you might expect the game's holo card system gives off the satisfaction of opening booster packs like I did expect. But I had to say it didn't. They're simply just cards scattered in hidden locations and dropped by enemies. 3 of each set gives Ratchet a quirk slightly improving his combat abilities. All in all, there are 108 cards in the game, and some of these necessary to unlock the most powerful weapon in the game. The hoverboard racing unlocks about halfway into the game, which really feels like I was playing a different game all throughout because of how fluid and well designed the racing levels are. However, I really think that the AI is way too slow, but the real challenge here is in avoiding the obstacles and beating the time record. I also like how the controls are rock solid. from the fighting to the platforming and of course to this racing part.
Whoops, that looked like it hurt.
The grind rails also feel a little bit like playing the original Tony Hawk in the PlayStation 1, which is of course a good thing. You also get to control a turret in one of the boss fights, which adds another fun minigame in the whole experience. The explosions animations were really well made and satisfying to look at. The ranger ship scene was also fun, but the controls were a little bit heavy and the airship seems to give me a motion sickness of some sort. Still though, shooting other ships are fun and extremely engaging. Proceeding to the level design and graphics, I would agree to a statement I read online that the game feels like playing a PIXAR film. The environment in itself is highly vibrant, regardless if you're on the grass, in a level with lava, or in the solar-punk town of Kerwan. The background is also noisy, but in a good way, and adds a little bit of life to the whole gameplay experience. I think this was the main reason why I bought this game. The graphics are just way too cute, easy, and relaxing to look at. I mean, even during boss fights. And yeah, I have this concern with Ratchet is swimming. He dies instantly, maybe 0.001 second after losing his breath. What's up with that? The background music is also phenomenal. It gets loud when it has to, in order to amplify the action scene. But during times where it has to be relaxing, maybe in connection to a joke that Quark just made, the music gives off a light tune. I like that. The sound effect is also good. I mean, just listen to the splash of that slime when I hit it. It sounds very slimy, doesn't it? Another thing that you can do in game is to collect the golden bolts scattered all over the map, which then entitles you to a lot of extras. You get to unlock character designs and sketches from the previous games. You can also unlock appearance settings like screen filter, bolt style, head mask, armor paint, and ship paint. I just miss it when games used to do that. I mean, no microtransactions or DLC required. And yeah, it's also fun to tinker with. And you also have the option to activate cheats if you're into that kind of stuff. I am also a big fan of the light-hearted humor of this game, which adds to the general feeling that I'm like watching a PIXAR film. Although, PIXAR films do not necessarily have sexual innuendos and adult jokes, so...
All he needed to do was shoot a target.
Impressive shooting. Nice work.
They'd be able to hear its mighty biceps ripple. But first, they'd have to tackle a brain-eating zombie T-Rex.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't recall no brain-eating zombie T-Rex.
Okay, fine, Killjoy.
Well, you look about all fixed up here.
But of course, some jokes are just flat out awkward and not funny.
No problem. See you in the next reboot.
To sum it all up, I would say that the Ratchet and Clank 2016, without comparing it to the other Ratchet and Clank games, is a pretty damn decent game. Despite negative criticisms from the fans of the series, I definitely had fun playing it. So much so that I even went for the in-game platinum. The story and the game itself did not definitely change the world in terms of impact, but still, it's a good game to play if you want something light to take your mind off things like the pandemic. It's decent. And considering that the game's cheap right now, I would say go for it and play it. Well, bros and broettes, that sums up my review for Ratchet and Clank 2016 on the PS4. Please consider leaving a like and comment as I enjoy anything video game related. Have fun and a good day to y'all.